Thank you, Mr. President. It is a golden day today, and this is the gold and silver bill. This is a bill, almost every item that is under the Senate substitute has already been considered and passed by this chamber. And it also differs rather significantly from the original bill that we filed. So I'm going to cover quickly what is included in the bill. I will cover what is removed from the bill, and I'll cover the one item that was added to the Senate substitute. First of all, the heart of the bill is the portion of the bill that's the Constitutional Money Act. This is the portion of the bill that allows for gold and silver to be used as legal tender in the state of Missouri. It requires any state public entities to accept gold and silver as legal tender, but it does not require private entities. It does include a provision that allows, at their choosing, private entities to use gold and silver, and has some provisions on how that can be done. But that is the kind of the heart of the bill, as we are bringing gold and silver as a legal tender to the state of Missouri. The second piece has to do with confiscation, and it prohibits confiscation of gold and silver assets from private citizens in the state of Missouri, and puts further restrictions on Missouri's ability or willingness to cooperate with any federal authority that may decide that they want to come into our state and confiscate gold and silver assets. So there are some consumer protections there. And finally, it creates an exemption of income taxes that can be levied on capital gains associated with the sale of gold and silver. Of course, right now you can transfer your money into other fiat currencies and then back to the US dollar. Any profits that you may realize as a result will no longer, are not currently subject to taxation, but that's not the case for gold and silver, as gold and silver is also just a store of wealth for private wealth. We would just be applying that to gold and silver as well. The last thing I want to cover is under the change that we made under the Senate substitute, which is new for the body, has to do with how the state will be required to accept gold and silver payments. After some discussions with the governor's office, we've determined that the best way to do that is allow the Department of Revenue to promulgate the rules that would be associated for how they are going to accept that payment. So this was a language that we got the signals from the governor's office they were most comfortable with. I think that does make sense, instead of trying to create those procedures directly within the bill, to provide them some flexibility. And that is what differs under the Senate substitute from the Senate committee substitute. We have removed from this bill language that, if you listen to a lot of floor debate, and I know you all do, the senator from Dallas and I talked about, there were provisions of the bill that had some constitutionality concerned as it relates to the treasurer's office, requiring the treasurer to keep a certain amount of the state's private or excess assets in physical gold and silver. Those have been removed from the bill because it's not that I don't think that there is a relevant and legitimate discussion on those items. It's just that I don't think that we were going to be able to get to a solution on this particular bill. So we've removed that. That provision was passed on a different bill, and if there's maybe some conversations we can have on that, we'll certainly pursue that. But that's not on this bill. I've removed that from the Senate substitute. And with that, Mr. President, I'm happy to answer any questions, or if not, I would renew my motion.